What's up, Colin?
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. This is another episode of the JAMS Football Show with Kyle and Horace, and today we are joined by the reigning champion, the heart and soul of the Swag Manian Devils. That is Mr. Jeff DiLorenzo,
Hey guys,
a.k.a. D-Lo.
how you guys doing? How's everybody doing?
Can't complain, can't complain. What's up with you?
Not much. Excited to play Friday.
What are you guys playing?
They got the Spartans, if I'm not mistaken,
Spartans.
right?
Yes.
That is a big one. So we're going to start off, rather than starting off with the interview, Jeff's going to stick the entire show. We'll get to the interview segment, but we're going to start off with the power rankings for this week. And let's start off with D-Lo's team. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that no one disagrees that Swag should be at the top spot, even though they had a very tough win this week. I mean, when we look at the score, 30-24, I was shocked, first of all, that someone actually put up 24 points against you guys, and second, that it was a one-score game.
Yeah, it was. Well, ours wasn't a one-score game.
Wasn't it 30-24, Jeff?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, it was. Sorry. Yeah, it was. Booton's tough, man. They got a ton of athletes, and they probably. I think they have the best player in the league. I think Brandon is unbelievable. He's unstoppable. Especially now that he's playing quarterback. If he could develop into a quarterback, forget it. That's dangerous.
That's interesting to know. All right.
Because they are so good. There's so many weapons. I mean, the candy is unbelievable.
That's a huge addition for them.
I don't want to butcher his name, but I think it's Karam. I think they call him Curry. He's unbelievable. And then Ardell, he took over the game with 10 minutes left. We were up about 30-8. The game was basically over. And he just took over. They probably scored twice in 6 minutes, I want to say.
Wow. And purely offensive scores? I mean, there wasn't like a defensive turnover that led to an easy score or anything like that?
I think we had 2 turnovers that game. Two pretty bad interceptions. But I mean, they made good plays on them. But yeah, I don't know that the I don't remember exactly when the second turnover was. I really don't. But I know we went up 30-8, and it felt like it was done. And I'm not sure what happened first, but Ardell either he went up for a jump ball with McAllister and took one down, and then he took like probably a 20 or 30 yard inside zone, inside run. He took that about 30 yards for a touchdown. So they snapped off 2 quick scores. But then, I mean, it was just too much to overcome for them at that point. No onside kicks. They took one at the end of the game with about 30 seconds left.
And onsides don't really work in this league because all you have to do is just tap it down and you're good.
Yeah, I mean, some funny stuff happens in this league, though, man. I've seen funny things happen.
We almost lost one this weekend.
That's what I'm saying, Horace. I mean, so many people have brain farts. I mean, we're shouting at everyone on the team, listen, just touch the ball, and we had like a bunch of people lollygagging over to the ball.
Yeah, we were the 10-yard line for some reason.
All right, anyway, so Swag at the number 1 spot. I mean, even though they finally got some competition this week.
They always play us tough. They always do, Boonton.
Yeah, no doubt, but the better team ended up pulling out the victory, and thus you guys should be at the number 1 spot. Second, Horace and I both have the Knights. D-Lo, do you agree with this? I mean, this is a second-year team,
Totally.
right? I mean, have not won a playoff game yet in the league. But, I mean, when you look at 3-0, I mean, they actually are beating you guys in the point differential, and you guys have played an extra game on them.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, the kid Jeff DeZutter is really good. They added a quarterback. Looks like they added a few skill guys. They got the kid Joshua Gordon back, and they're big. That team is big. They're physical too. Last year, that was the most physical game I've played in JAMS so far.
Oh. All right, so number 3, we match up again with the Union. I mean, enough's been said about them. Spartans, they've been strong out of the gate. Have you guys played the Spartans yet, D-Lo?
No, they're playing them tomorrow, or excuse me, Friday night.
Yep, Friday night.
But they're coming off a big win against the Hurricanes, who you happen to have right under them. So, you want to defend your ranking there?
I mean, the way I'm looking at it is, I know that Dime City beat the Hurricanes, but I still feel like the Hurricanes is the superior team at this point in time. I know that some people have went out and went to the defense of the Dime City quarterback. I just personally haven't seen it yet. And although I went out on a limb last week and made a pretty bold statement saying the Hurricanes definitely won't win the championship this year, which I know I'll probably get some flack for that. I still think they're better than Dime City.
That's tough. I mean, that's 2 for 2. I know they're 2 for 2 against them. That's tough. I mean, I'd give them the nod to the Hurricanes because it's just one matchup, and the Hurricanes are just so tough, especially. And if they get healthy, forget it. They're so banged up right now, from what I understand.
Really? Who's out for them?
Well, I know the kid Randy, 21. I actually think he tore his ACL. I'm not 100% on that.
He's an excellent player.
Oh, he's
Excellent.
unbelievable. And then I just saw a couple of the guys like Kevin Scholl last week, 27. He wasn't really getting too much burn. I think he actually was a little banged up. I know Chris, number 2. I think he's a little banged up. So I mean, and then plus they got a lot of new guys, so you got to give them some time to gel together as well.
I just feel like they're getting way too old, and 3 in a row is not a good way to, like, we're getting into the middle of the season, and they're slacking fast. So let's move on to, let's see, at 5.
Let's not forget to. I mean, they also had an underwhelming playoff performance last year, and when they lost to Code Red. But then again, let's give Code Red credit where credit is due, and they also gave you guys, D'Lo, a run for your money in the second round of the playoffs.
I've played football for probably about 20 years now. I'm 26. I've been playing since I was 7. By far the most exhausting game. It was just insane the way that game went.
Is that 5 overtimes, D'Lo?
That was 5. I believe it was 5 overtimes. Definitely 4. Definitely 4. Maybe 5. I think 5.
Wow. All right. Anyway, so at my 6th spot, 7th spot, I have Dime City. Horace, like I said, we're flip-flopped. You have Boonton up at your 7th spot, as we just said earlier in the show. Very tough team. They've always given swag fits, and they've been coming on as of lately. I mean, they started off a little slow, but the last couple weeks it seems they're getting better and better every week.
I just feel like that. I'd say the 5 through 7 spot, that it gets a little jumbled right there. Like, they're all kind of good, but not quite there yet. I think Dime City's the closest to breaking out just because they got that quarterback, and they look good. They have their bad athletes at the defensive end position with one big guy at the tackle. And I watched the entire second half, and they played the Union pretty well. It took the last drive for the Union to actually pull out the win.
Here's my thing with you having Dime City. You have Dime City at your 5th spot, and you got Boonton at your 7th spot.
Mm-hmm.
D'Lo's team, right? They went out, and I know the game was maybe close at halftime, but they trounced Dime City. You compare that to the way Boonton played them, was a much closer game. I mean, I guess at least Boonton pulled away late in the game. But D'Lo, I mean, give us your intake on this. I mean, who do you think is the superior team?
I mean, it's tough. Dime City's good. I mean, what happens is, and it's been a trend this year for us. In the second half, I mean, every game we've played, I think we've scored on every opening drive or second drive at least. And then in the second half, I mean, it's 1 or 2 turnovers, and we just pour it on after that. And that's all that happened to Dime City. They threw a couple turnovers. They towards the end of the game, they weren't really into it either. But the first half, that was a tough game. And then I'll tell you what, though, I have so much respect for Boonton just because I think Boonton can beat any team on any given week. Just because of I mean, Brandon's a game wrecker, Ardell's a game wrecker, and now that they have Jason DeCandia, those guys are game wreckers. They could blow a game open in one play.
Yeah, you can't state enough how big that DeCandia addition is. Absolutely amazing.
The other thing I want to say is Dime City has that kid Mike Gordon, and he's unreal as well too. I mean, he'll blow a game open too. So that's important when you play those two teams. You can't let those guys just blow the door off you. You gotta make sure you contain them, and they're gonna get theirs for the most part, but you gotta do what you can.
All right, real quick. This is why I chose Dime City. They played the Spartans. They played Swag. They played the Canes and the Union. None of those games are easy. Out of those games, they beat the Hurricanes. When you look at Boonton, they played basically the same one, except that they played Code Red, and that was their win. And it was a 6-0 win. And that's not as impressive to me as beating the Hurricanes. Maybe I'm still going off the Hurricanes' reputation, but I just think Dime City's played tougher teams and has a tougher win.
Certainly going to be really interesting when these two teams match up, and I guess for me the thing that really made me pick Boonton over them is because of how close they played Swag this week, even though it was kind of a late game comeback. But anyway, let's move on. At my 8th spot, I have Code Red. And you, sir, you have Code Red at 8 as well.
I do. Just give me a second here. So for Code Red, like even Sammy Charbon said a couple weeks ago that they do have wins, but none of them have been pretty wins. They're actually been kind of lucky to pull them out. Like even against us, like it took a couple unbelievable plays, and like they did lose Devron. I think they replaced him. They actually replaced him with Shake, actually, the former Putin quarterback and former MVP of the league. So now he's playing wide receiver for Code Red. But I still think that their offensive line is where they're hurting the most.
Yeah, absolutely. But you still got to give them the nod over us, that is the Gladiators, because at the end of the day, they beat us. And Code Red is, I mean, ugly wins is not something new to them. Dating back to last season, I mean, I think they had 5 7-6 wins. We say that all the time. But they don't win pretty, but they win games. So give them credit where credit's due. At the 9 spot, we are locked up. We are in agreement. The Gladiators. I mean, D'Lo, if you disagree, interject where you see fit.
No, I'm pretty. I think you guys got it right for the most part here. I think there's a couple teams that you could switch around, but for the most part, it's tough to argue.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to be really all over the place. I mean,
it's still early.
Be wrong on this, you'd have to be pretty foolish. But yeah, like you said, it's still early. I mean, a lot of things are definitely going to switch around. Case in point is Dime City last year. They really started off with a losing record and then ended up winning about 4 or 5 in a row. And ended up getting a 4 or 5 seed in the playoffs, and then ended up winning a playoff game. So
yeah, we started like that a couple years ago. I think in like 2012, we started off 1-2-1, and then we ripped off 5 straight.
Wow, yeah, that was our first year in the league, Horace and I. So I never played against you guys that first year, but I know you guys had a different quarterback at that point in time.
He actually played that year, believe it or not. He played a couple games that year, and then we switched to alt. I don't know if you guys know who alt is.
I think that was the second.
Of course we know.
No, we did play them. We did play them because I remember Altamont just ran all over us.
Yeah, I know. I actually wasn't there at that game though, Horace. It was like you guys had a doubleheader that day. But anyway, let's move on just for the sake of time. I got VS at my 10th spot, and so do you, Horace. Last week you actually had it flip-flopped. You had GPAC at the 10th spot. Why the switch?
I guess because VS does have better playmakers in the end. There's not much of a difference, but they did put up 12 points on us, whereas GPAC put up 6.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that we ended up giving up 12 points in that game, whereas when we played Union and any other team who are better teams than VS, at least on paper, we didn't give up more than 6. Or, excuse me, we gave up 8. Obviously, the safety came as part of those 2 points when we played Code Red. But anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk to D'Lo. Let's get into his head. Horace, start off with your first question for him.
All right, so this is just an opinion question. I think that when he's on his game and when he's going all out, Manny Sweeney is the most unstoppable player in this league. Do you?
I don't disagree. Of course not. Well, I can't disagree.
Well, you did say Ardell Roberts is probably the best.
No, he's good. No, I think Brandon's the best player. Yeah. But that's just me being humble. I mean, I think I'm the best player in the league, and there's no doubt in my mind when I start playing. But if I have to put myself aside, then you're talking about Brandon, probably Manny. I probably have to say Mustafa. There's a couple of guys. There's a lot of guys out there, and then I mean, Dave on the Hurricanes. He's just so clutch. I mean, he's been doing it, but you're definitely hitting a peg there with age. But I mean, I still think he gets it done.
What about your former teammate Abdul Salam?
He's unbelievable too. I played with him when he was on GPAC, and he was absolutely lights out. He's always one of the most underrated players in the league.
Everyone doubts him year after year. I know I was on that. I was doubting him last year. I mean, I remember saying to Horace, Dave of VS, I know him from our first year playing in the league, and I also know him because I see him at the gym pretty often. And I was telling Horace, hey, listen, I see your boy Dave who plays on your team at the gym. He's your best receiver. And Horace is like, no. Abdul Salam's our best receiver. I was like, who is this? And I remember seeing him make a tremendous play when we scrimmaged you guys at the beginning of last year, Horace, and I still really didn't think all that much of him. And I will say that when we actually played you guys during the regular season, my tune changed.
All right.
He's crafty. He really gets after it too.
Yeah. All right, Kyle, your question?
All right, so D'Lo, so you guys clearly have very, very good chemistry. There's no doubt about that. It's clear as day. My question is, there's been rumors going around, but I never really asked you, never really asked someone on Swag. Did most of you guys play together in high school or in some capacity with one another? And is that kind of why you guys have such great chemistry?
I mean, I have a couple of guys on my team, like me and Corey, our quarterback. We played in Pop Warner together for, I want to say 7 years. Yeah, since we were both 7. But then he played basketball in high school.
This is Queen of Peace High School?
Yeah, Queen of Peace. And then me and our receiver this year, he was our quarterback in 2013, and he actually started off for us in 2012, Joseph Maraglia. I played with him in high school. He was my high school quarterback. He was unbelievable. He won a state championship. He was unreal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Corey now, he's just reaming with confidence after that championship win, man. It's like just 3 touchdowns every week. The throws he's making this year are unbelievable. Unreal. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, if they put the stats up at some point, you'll look at that and you're going to be like, what's going on? He's probably got 14 touchdowns, maybe 3 interceptions, and he's got to be pushing 1,000 yards through 4 games.
That's unbelievable, especially in this league.
And it's in that neighborhood, but yeah, he's lighting it up, and that, you know, and I don't want to blow air in his head there, but I mean, he's really playing well this year. MVP for our team this year, hands down. It's not even close.
No pressure, Corey. No pressure.
All right.
So just to finish off that question, it was really just kind of you, Corey, and Joe that played high school with one another.
All of the rest of my friends, a couple of them played at Bergen. A couple of them played at St. Peter's Prep. We all went to like grammar school together. The core of us, about probably I want to say 10 of us. And we always, if there was a snow day, all of us were playing football together. If we had a day off, we were playing football together. So not all of them ever really played in an organized, really competitive setting, but for the most part, we were always playing together.
Hey, that's good enough. I think half Dime City basically started off the same way, in like some organic way. I think they started off together with Team or Town Beat. That's what it's called. So
that league is nuts.
All right, so Kyle, should I move on to my second question?
Absolutely.
All right, so you guys are known for your offense. Do you guys have any underrated defensive superstars besides Dallas German?
I don't know how he's underrated. I can't imagine that. I think everybody's starting to get the picture with him there. Maurice Lyles, our nose tackle, he doesn't make it to all the games, but we added him late last year. He's unbelievable. I mean, he just makes such a difference.
Right?
What?
The big fella from last year?
Yeah, number 72, yeah. He makes a huge difference. And our 2 middle linebackers, nobody will talk about, but Marcelo Murillo and Justin McElwain, man, they don't do anything statistically to make it, to get on there, but I mean, it's tough to get tackles in this league when the quarterback's under pressure and there's a lot of picks and everything like that, but they're so solid underneath. It's really it's 10 deep, man. You got to be 10 deep to win it all.
One of them is rather short, right?
They're both pretty short. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, honestly, I can't say I know their names, but playing against them on the field, I have been impressed. I must say.
They're number 29 and 3. They get after it every week, especially 3. Man, he shuts the run down. Like I said, I mean, run plays in this league aren't exactly prevalent, but when they do run and teams can rip off 10, 15 yards on that, that's big. To just get an unsuspected 10 yards, 15 yards, and they shut it down, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so let's move on to our next question. Now, D'Lo.
Mm-hmm.
Brian said I have to get you on the show. He personally sent me an email way back and said you got to get him on the show, and I did reach out to you immediately after that, and you declined. And then I guess
I got all the pressure from my team after that once they found out I didn't do it.
But anyway, so the reason that he gave when he said you have to email this guy, he's like, D'Lo, he sees the game different than most people. All right, so clearly, at least in your team's mind, and in my mind too, I think you really have a good mind for football. What exactly is it? I mean, what do you attribute? Like you won a state championship in high school, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, how exactly did you get such a deep understanding of the game? What do you do to study? I mean, what have you done? I mean, is this your playbook? Have you crafted the playbook?
No, this is actually. I mean, it's funny, but it's something from my high school offensive coordinator that we pulled together. It's all a combination of everything I learned, but the bulk of it comes from my college high school offensive coordinator, and my buddy Joey actually coaches. He played quarterback for us. He coaches now, and I mean, he's just as brilliant. If not, he knows the game way more than I do. He's another unbelievable mind. And that whole tree, it's like a coaching tree in North Jersey. The guys over at Seton Hall Prep right now, coaches, they run a similar offense. I think maybe the head coach at Bergen, but it's it came from, at least as far as I know, it stemmed at like Bosco was the first that I know. But my offensive coordinator was the offensive coordinator at Don Bosco at one point. But yeah, I mean it's pretty basic though. It's a pretty standard I want to say pro style offense.
That's good to know. I mean, we switch our offense on the regular, and we notice like a lot of the top teams do have a set offense. They know what they're running. Everyone knows their responsibilities, and that I feel like that's huge in this league.
That was the biggest thing after my year on GPAC when we were. I mean, we had a ton of athletes on that team, and we were pretty good. And the biggest thing is if you're not organized and you're dysfunctional, you can't win this game. You cannot win a football game being dysfunctional. It's the toughest thing to do, and you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. It's got to be one person. They have to have the direction. You just got to go.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm gonna move on to my third question. Last year I dubbed you guys as like the greatest show on turf. This year I think you guys are like those '07 Pats. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't want to be the '07 Pats. They lost. I want to be like the '72 Dolphins. I want to head to Perfectville.
So do you have any, I guess, thoughts on your own offense? Any comparisons?
Hey, D'Lo, if you want to be the '72 Dolphins, you guys better start running the ball more.
Oh, we do. Trust me, we get involved. I mean, we don't run a lot, but I mean, it's tough to run in this league. You got to be able to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, but anyway, so you don't want to be the '07 Pats.
No, I mean, I don't mind it. They went 18-0, but they didn't win the one that mattered.
I'm just comparing the offenses. I'm not talking about.
I mean, yeah. I'll take that. I'll take the 2000 what was it, 2012 Broncos, was it, that they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take any of the highest scoring offenses, and I want to be like the 2000 Ravens though with their defense too. So I want a couple hybrid teams here.
Well, you guys can't give up some late touchdowns like you did last week if you want to be the 2000
no, we
Ravens.
can't. If you were there, you would hear how crazy I am when we started letting up points.
Honestly, we're about to go into the film portion of this, and honestly, I could see you being crazy on one of these particular plays.
There's absolutely no one crazier in this league than me. There can't be. There's no one that could take this league as serious as I do. I wouldn't believe it. I go to work, man.
Make a podcast about it. So.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's 9 a.m. I get into work. I check my emails real quick, and then the first thing I'm doing is I'll watch film from 2009 if I'm playing a team. I'll watch it from 2010. I'll watch whatever there is. I'll go like this week. I'll watch film from Omar from last year on Code Red, just to see if he's gonna do anything and try to pull anything from what they were doing last year.
All right. So Kyle, I think you have one last question.
I actually don't. I just have one comment though. Yeah, you are pretty crazy on the field. There's been times. I like to think I could be pretty angry on the field every now and then. But I've tried to give you a high five every now and then, and you weren't having it.
No, not after we could be friends. Not during.
I remember that in our second season with GPAC, we just got destroyed by swag. Like you guys were running double reverses, wide receiver passes.
Hey, by the way, one of those double reverses on the goal line, I stopped D'Lo. And he was pretty livid after that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so let's go to our film portion of this. I'm just gonna click the screen share. Just give me a moment. I think we finally got this down, Horace.
Finally. All right. Let's do it.
All right. So let's go to the video. So this is from the Swag Union game, which was week 3, if I'm not mistaken. That's coming up fine for you guys, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, a lot better than the last couple weeks. A little choppy though.
Yeah, it does come up choppy. I think it's just because the screen share and.
Guys, did the screen share stop right now? I actually want to turn the volume off. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so it's still presenting to everyone. All right. So, D'Lo, we're actually going to go to the first touchdown of the game, which you were actually the culprit that scored on this play.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like what you did on this play. So, let's see. You just caught a ball right there. Now, the problem with Vimeo is we can't seem to slow it down ourselves like we can with YouTube, unfortunately. But we'll just play this in live time. So, When I look at this play, it seems like you got great field awareness. I mean, typically what you'll see, because it's not like a regulation-sized field, people sometimes don't know where the out-of-bounds marker is, and you managed to find a little open spot right there in the corner and settle in for the touchdown. You want to kind of break this play down for us?
I mean, I've run it so many times. It's just like you just know after you run. Like I said, I've been running this offense specifically. Like I've been running that play since 2007. No, earlier than that, 2003. I started running that. So like it's just, I know where I'm at on the 10-yard line. I know where the end zone is. I know about how many steps I'm gonna have to take before I get to the marker. It's a little tough when you switch the sides. Like if you go to the other side when those pylons come in a little bit. But I mean, you run those routes enough, you just know. I mean, it's just like I'm never really looking at my feet until I have the ball. Once I have the ball, I'll look at the ground. But other than that, it's just you have to know.
Absolutely. I also like. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I don't know too much about running routes and stuff. Never done it as a receiver, but it seems like you beat Mustafa off the line pretty good. He's definitely, I would say, one of the better defensive backs in the league. I don't know. He's definitely a better receiver than he is a defensive back. But clearly you beat him right here, and for whatever reason, I don't know if were you supposed to potentially get the ball earlier than you did? Like, could you have I guess theoretically, could Corey have thrown it? Like, I guess at this point, could he start releasing it?
He could have thrown it there. It's all about how he feels. I mean, he throws it about exactly when it should come out. I mean that play. I remember when that play happened. I was as soon as I turned my head about maybe a quarter of a second after the ball was out. So I mean, that's usually the marker there. Once I turn my head, the ball should be out.
All right. By the way,
I don't
Horace,
know if you noticed on the other side, Sean was open too, and he had his hands up. I just saw that for the first time.
Sean in the stat department last year, I know it had to be killing him a little bit because he's definitely a better receiver than his stats indicated last year. But just for whatever reason, you guys and Manny hogging up all the catches.
I was about to say it's tough, man. It's tough. There's a lot of mouths to feed, and I don't know if everybody knows, but the guy Brian Frazier on my team, he was on the replacement 2 years ago before he came over to us last year.
Yeah, he had a lot of receptions.
And he was their guy. And he came over here, and he's great, man. He comes over. He's excellent in his own right too, and he doesn't complain, nothing. It's just he came in and plugged and played seamlessly.
Is he playing in this game?
No, he actually. I think his car got towed in New York.
Oh, that's never fun.
Nope.
All right, so hold on. Let's go to this second play. Not this play. Oh, actually, it is this play. Let me back this up a little bit. So, D'Lo, I think you had to be livid on this play. It certainly looked this way. Not this play.
Come down with it. Oh.
All right. So this is an excellent play by Rajab and the Fahmi. I can't remember.
This
all right. So Rajab's going to drop. He's going to look to his right. Immediately go back to his left. Airs it out in a place only where his guy can get it. I mean, he's throwing this over Manny, who's 6'5". Absolutely awesome throw. You're signaling that it's not good, and
he bobbled it a little bit. He probably caught it. I was just, I'll do anything to get it. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to put something in the red.
You see, you will do anything, and here's why. Horace, I told you about this before, but last year when we were playing Swag Week 2, my friend Aaron Wright, he had trouble registering, and our captain, Ahmed Farag, actually spoke to Mustafa Abbasi and some other of the board and said, hey, listen, we tried to get this guy registered, but he couldn't. He's like, okay, I'll take care of it. And for whatever reason, so I think it was Jaime, the stat guy, runs on the field and is like, who are you? And then Ahmed Farag's like, hey, listen, man, I spoke to Mustafa Abbasi. They know, and they got to get the phone call. But D'Lo's like, hey, listen, man, he's a good player, but I want to win the game. He can't be on this field.
And listen, and it's not that I don't think we can win if you have him or not. It's just, you know what I mean? I'll take any advantage I can get.
Hey, listen, I agree with you, man. I remember last year when we were playing Knights, Omar Yusuf, he ended up getting like a bloody leg, and I said, hey, listen, he's got to come out for that. And I remember someone on the other team was like saying, hey, Kyle, that's some Bush League stuff. I was like, hey, listen, I'm in here to win this game. But anyway, all right, so D'Lo, you come and you make the stop on the goal line for the conversion, and look at it. I mean, you're shouting it up. I mean, you must have been livid after that touchdown.
If you could, I mean, you can kind of hear it even on the video with the music. I say hell no.
All right, so that's all I got from the plays in this game. I mean, there's many more good plays, but
actually, I have guys in this past week that from the Dime City Union game. I just haven't had a chance to put them up yet, but I think I'll make a separate post for this week.
All right,
And there
cool.
was some plays in that game.
Sounds good. Looking forward to that, Horace. Hey, anyway, so let's move on to a pick'em portion of the show. All right, sound good, guys?
Yep.
So, Dilo, I'm pretty sure you know how it works, but what we're going to do is look at the week's games, and then we're going to try to guess the score.
Okay.
Score. So, yeah, that's how it's going to work.
All right, so Horace, so the first game of the week is Swag versus the Spartans. That's an 8:30 p.m. game, correct?
Yep.
All right, Horace, who you got in that one?
All right. Honestly, like I said before, at the beginning of the season, it's just so hard to stop you guys on offense. Spartans do have a decent defensive line. They do have, I would say it's the best offensive line in the league. But I still see you guys putting up the usual 24 points to 8. I'll say 24 to 8.
I will say this: they usually run a lot of man, and 00, I think his name's Omar Contanani. He usually covers me pretty well. He's a really good man coverage corner.
Okay, so Kyle, you got to pick. You got a score for this one?
Yes, I do. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as you're saying. I know that, hey, listen, Swag, they're the best offense in the league. There's no doubt. I actually got this one 13-7. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Swag on top, but it's going to be a one-score game.
All right,
only 3 total touchdowns. Say that again, Horace?
Does Dilo want to give us his score prediction on this?
I don't think he does.
I'll tell you. I think Swag's gonna win. I won't do a score though.
Okay. So let's go. Second game on Friday night: the Hurricanes versus VS.
Hurricanes versus VS. Horace, who do you have in this one?
I'm gonna go with Hurricanes. As bad as they've been playing, I just don't think VS is that good. I'll go 12-0 Canes.
12-0. I got this one at 20-0. Hurricanes. Dilo.
I'll take 26 Hurricanes. I think Victoria's Secret gets on the board.
Ooh, 20-6. All right.
Yep.
So
they showed a little life last week. Let's give them credit where credit's due.
They have some weapons, and they added Brandon Sessions.
I noticed that this week. I was like, hey, listen, did this kid? I mean, he led the league in interceptions last year by a large margin, Dilo. I think he might have had 3 or 4 more interceptions than yourself.
Yeah, he had. I think he probably had like 11 or 14 by the end of the year, something like that. He was in that range.
Yeah.
I think I had like 1 a game last year, so I had to have like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I mean, he had 11, and that's only accounting 8 weeks worth of stats. They didn't put the stats in for weeks 9 and 10, so he could have potentially had more than that.
I think we may have been the only team he didn't pick off last year.
All right, so let's move on to Dime City Gladiators, and since both of us are on the Gladiators, Dilo, you got to make the prediction for us.
All right. I think you guys will play them tough. I know a couple of guys on your team. Well, I don't know him personally, but I know like Collis Span came back this year, and he was unbelievable. He's a very, very good player. I know Brian Linden's good. I think you guys should play him. I think you'll beat them. I think you'll take them probably. I say a tight one, 14-13 maybe, 16-15, something in that range, depending on the extra point situations.
That's not bad.
You guys need to come out and win this week, and I'll tell you what, Dime City needs a win too.
Wow, I thought you were being nice that first deal. You're like, oh, you guys are going to play him close. You'll play him close. You're like, oh, he's being nice.
I was going to give you the fatality there.
Yeah, I was waiting for that part. I was like, yeah, you guys are good, but these guys are better or something like that. But all right.
Yeah, that's a big game. That's definitely a big game for you guys.
It's a huge game. It's a huge game because, there's a lot of talk going around the league. Oh, Gladiators are the 3rd worst team in the league. I mean, for the past couple of weeks, Horace and I, our own team, we've ranked ourselves 3rd worst the past couple of weeks. So we've already played the 2 teams that we've had ranked below us. So we got to start getting wins from better competition. There's no doubt about it. All right, let's go on to Boonton Bounty Hunters versus G-Pack. I'm going to say this is going to be Boonton. It's not going to be close. 22-0.
Deal it. Go second.
I'll take Boonton. I say they drop 30-6.
Wow. I think we're giving Boone too much credit after one offensive outing, and
it has nothing. I would have said the same thing regardless of what they did to us. But I'm telling you, Brandon now. I think he's played quarterback for 4 weeks. Once he starts to figure that out, he's going to be very, very dangerous back there.
All right, I'm a bit more lukewarm. I'll say 14-6.
Really, Horace? You think it's going to be that close?
Yeah. Like, they haven't shown me much otherwise. They put up 6 on Code Red.
All right. I definitely disagree with you there. And just like when you had them at the 10th spot last week, you're going to be wrong again.
Okay.
Inshallah, God willing. Well, I don't even know if I want to say that. But anyway, let's move on. I don't wish bad against GPAC. It's just I know I was getting some hate from them last week. But anyway, Knights versus Code Red. I'm going to take the Knights in this one, 12-0. They keep the streak up of not letting up a single point.
Oh, all right. I'm going to go with more of an offensive game by the Knights. I'm going to say 24-0. I just think the defense is too lights out, and why? It's getting to the point where it's just like better to pick them posting another shutout than not. Like, honestly, 4 games with straight shutouts, or is it 3 games?
3.
Okay. Either way, that defense is unbelievable. They're going to devour that offensive line.
I'll take the Knights probably about the same, 24-0, 24-6. Maybe. I'll tell you what. If does Zach Ramjam play a lot? Because he's another game breaker, man.
I'll tell you what. He came to show up against us, and he did it in an emphatic way. Just a huge touchdown, and arguably he almost had another huge one. Just diving, leaping catches. I mean, the guy plays much bigger than his size indicates.
Mm-hmm. He's super athletic.
All right, so I think it's gonna about wrap it up for us. Horace, you got any closing thoughts? Deal, anything that you want to say?
I'm sure that my team wants me to do a For Life, and I wish I could have put that in black and white and blasted some NWO music, but I don't think I have the capabilities to do that.
Honestly, I love you guys with your NWO references. I think it's one of the greatest things on the forum.
Yeah. Hey, D'Lo, I mean, this guy needs some schooling in NWO. He was saying the Heartbreak Kid the other week.
That was terrible.
I didn't watch wrestling as much. I was more around like I was a huge Stone Cold Steve Austin fan.
But Shawn Michaels was in the NWO.
Huh?
But that was when he came to WWE.
Yeah, that was when it was terrible.
Okay. But what makes you like NWO so much? That's my last question for you.
I don't know. It's strange. It's just funny, man. There was just such a. They took over. Like it was like if you were what, I don't know. That had to be when we were 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in that range. If you weren't watching WCW and Hogan and all those guys just take over, man. I mean, it was just unbelievable, and they took over, and that's what that was the goal here, to come here and just take over.
Yeah. Hey, D'Lo, I have a confession. My brother and I, we were Wolfpack, just so you know.
My buddy loves it too. He actually, I think he wears the Wolfpack shirt every week. I think he wears under his jersey.
Which guy is that?
Justin, 29.
Justin, 29. All right. Well, this has been a blast. We tried to keep it a little bit shorter this week, and I believe that we succeeded. Not what we intended, but it's not 50 minutes. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I think we hit 45, but who's counting?
Oh, it is 45? Oh, my gosh. I thought it was less than that. All right, D'Lo, thanks a bunch for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Have a good one, guys.
All right, take care. All right, everyone. That's going to do it for us. Kyle and Horace signing off. JAMS Football Show. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you.
Assalamu alaikum.